right?
Witcher!
You have to do your worst movies 2015 review.
Witcher!
We are not Angry Joe. Get in the room and do your review.
Witcher. Witcher. Welcome. I'm the Kaiju no Kami, and today I'm going to finally go through my list of the worst movies of 2015. Number 10. I'm going to kick off this list with a movie that's not necessarily bad by any means, but it isn't a very good one, and it does happen to be my 10th least favorite movie of 2015, and that is Unfriended. This movie is not exactly terrible. In fact, it does do a decent job of being a social commentary on how cyberbullying can affect people. Nevertheless, it isn't that great of a movie, and the ending leaves a lot to be desired, but it does have some solid moments. As far as horror movies go, it could have been a lot worse, but still not exactly there. Number 9. This next choice is a big point of contention for me, and that's because there was no need to separate it into two movies. And that is Mockingjay Part 2, Hunger Games 600. The biggest reason this makes my list is because of how pointless it is. There was no reason for the story to be Peter Jackson. As it stands, it makes the 4 years I spent on this franchise a complete waste of time. That, and Katniss is an irrelevant character in her own story. Number 8. Ooh. Number 8. As a video gamer, I should be insulted by this movie, which is Pixels. This movie is quite frustrating because it does have some good jokes, especially as a gamer. Sadly though, for every good joke they make, it is then ruined with a bombardment of several bad ones.
Bombardment! 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 Bombardment!
There is some solid chemistry to be had between Adam Sandler and the main girl, but then it is decimated by the garbage drunken performance of Peter Dinklage. He is easily the worst thing about this movie. You know what's really sad about it too? Kevin James plays the president. Picture that. Kevin James as the president. And yet, I can still see that over Donald Trump. Number 7. The next movie on this list is one where they seem to whisper a lot. And what is that movie? If you have not guessed it by now, it is Jupiter Ascending! All I can really say is that this movie exists. It isn't remotely good, but it isn't the worst thing ever. Its biggest crime is that it is just flat out boring. There is no chemistry between Kunis and Tatum at all. But what is worse is that Tatum is the only actor here who seems to be trying. The main villain, not Gary Oldman as I call him, is hard to take seriously as he will just have random outbursts of him shouting as if he has Tourette's syndrome. Oh, and Jupiter is the Hollywood version of Princess Peach. How many times can one female character get kidnapped in her own movie? Oh yeah. And also, Jupiter Ascending and Pixels have one thing in common. They didn't know how to kill Sean Bean. Epic failure. Number 6. Closer to that. My number 6 choice is one that is just... I don't know how to describe it. It's Hot Pursuit. Do you like unfunny comedies? How about one about a dynamic duo that has a really annoying southern accent and one who sounds like a dying cat? How about annoying characters? A plot that makes no sense and is pretty much just a rehash of seen it, done it before better. If you answered yes to any of these questions, this movie is for you. Number 5. Halfway there, and we haven't even gotten into the good stuff yet. Oh, what do you get when you take a comic book property and don't know what you want to do with it? You get Fantastic Four, that's what. The first 45 minutes are actually pretty good. There is no chemistry between the cast at all, but had this movie been a science fiction one about a group of people discovering a new world and exploring it, it would have been decent. As a superhero movie,
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
there is nothing hero-y about it whatsoever. Doom is an even bigger insult than he was in the last incarnation, and they don't even do anything to warrant being called heroes. Just like Jupiter Ascending, the biggest crime of this movie is that it is boring. Oh my god, so boring. They just sit there and do nothing. And even half of the scenes you see in the trailer aren't even present in the movie. Such as when Thing is coming off the plane to attack someone. That's not there. This is a failure on all accounts. And yet, it's not the worst. Not the worst. Number 4. What is the obsession with remakes right now? Come on, don't we have enough horror remakes? And out of all the movies to do Poltergeist, horror remakes tend to be crap. But this one feels like they weren't even trying. It's like they watched the trailer to the original movie and decided to remake it. The family is absolutely unlikable. There is no suspense or any sort of build up to the jump scares. The clown scene is overplayed in the trailer as it really amounts to nothing in the movie. The pacing is terrible. To be fair, I am not a huge fan of the original, but at least there was effort and creativity put into it. Number 3. Oh man. This is painful. This is so painful, and yet it's still not as bad as what number 1 is going to be. And that is The Gallows. Oh look, another generic and boring found footage movie with bland characters and a stupid ending. Next. Number 2. The next movie on my list is the 7th in a series of sequels, and this movie was just downright dreadful. Do not watch this unless you watch the other 6, because you will have no idea what's going on, and that is The Seventh Son. I just don't know where to begin, as I have all of these questions. What does the seventh son mean? What does Jeff Bridges need with him? Why was the witch locked up at the beginning of the movie? What is the blood moon? Why did it free her? Why possess a little girl? Why does the seventh son see visions? And that is all from just the first 18 minutes. None of this movie makes any sense whatsoever, as nothing was ever explained. It's like they took 100 minutes worth of footage from a 300-hour video game and spliced them together without any meaning or context. This movie should have been interesting with its concepts, but it doesn't actually explain anything to you. The villains look cool, but they are just there to die. They have no purpose in the story other than time wasters. And then we have the guy who has a God of War type weapons for some reason. And yet, this is still nowhere near as bad as the number 1 pick. Oh God. Here we go. Number 1. The next movie on the list is... well, the other movies on this list were pretty bad. But this just takes the cake. I mean, this is... okay. I consider Battlefield Earth to be the worst movie ever made. And this next entry is on par with that. And the casting is rich. I don't know how this happened, but it did. And the number 1 pick, the worst movie of 2015, the worst movie of the decade, is, without a doubt, the one, the only Mordecai. What did we ever do that was so bad to deserve this? If Johnny Depp was trying to show us that he could be the worst actor ever, he succeeded and then some. This movie does not even deserve a Razzie because that is rewarding it for being this rank. I haven't seen acting this wooden since Treebeard. It's a script so bad that even George Lucas would have rejected it. Every actor feels like they are reading their lines off of a slow-moving teleprompter and at times might have even frozen. Depp's voice sounds worse than a dying cat to the point that muting the movie 4 minutes in would be a blessing. Everything about it is garbage, from its bland, non-existent story to the world around it that feels like you are already supposed to know who everyone is. In a year that gave us The Kingsman, we are then cursed with this mockery. I don't care if you like bad movies or not. Avoid this putrid pus of pistum. There is just no end to how much pain I can tell you that this movie brings. I wouldn't even show this movie to the people I hate. And yes, there are a lot of people I hate, but even I wouldn't bring this upon them. I have already wasted way too much time on this movie. So I am going to stop right here. Thanks for watching. Let me know what the worst movies of 2015 were for you. And until next time, bye.